1. What is the basic unit of life? A. Tissue. B. Organ. C. Cell. D. Atom. Answer: C. Cell. Why? The cell is the smallest living unit of the body. Nursing fact: many disease processes start at the cellular level before symptoms show up. Which part of the cell is considered the control centre? A. Ribosome. B. Nucleus. C. Lysosome. D. Cytoplasm. Answer: B. Nucleus. Why? The nucleus contains genetic material and directs cell activities. Nursing fact: cancer involves abnormal cell growth, often related to changes in cellular genetic control. Which organelle is known as the powerhouse of the cell? A. Mitochondria. B. Golgi apparatus. C. Nucleus. D. Endoplasmic reticulum. Answer: A. Mitochondria. Why mitochondria produce ATP, the cell's energy source? Nursing fact: low oxygen levels can reduce ATP production, leading to poor tissue function and fatigue. Which structure is primarily responsible for protein synthesis? A. Lysosome. B. Ribosome. C. Nucleus. D. Vacuole. Answer: B. Ribosome. Why ribosomes make proteins? Nursing fact: protein is important for wound healing, immune function, and tissue repair. Which organelle packages and transports proteins? A. Golgi apparatus. B. Mitochondria. C. Nucleus. D. Centriole. Answer: A. Golgi apparatus. Why? The Golgi modifies, packages, and ships proteins. Nursing fact: protein processing supports healing, hormone function, and immune response. What is the main function of the cell membrane? A. Produce energy. B. Control what enters and leaves the cell. C. Store water. D. Make DNA. Answer: B. Control what enters and leaves the cell. Why? The cell membrane is selectively permeable. Nursing fact: many medications work by affecting cell membrane receptors, channels, or transport systems. What term describes movement from high concentration to low concentration? A. Osmosis. B. Active transport. C. Diffusion. D. Filtration. Answer: C. Diffusion. Why? Diffusion is passive movement down a concentration gradient. Nursing fact: oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange in the lungs occurs by diffusion. Osmosis is the movement of A. Solute through a membrane. B. Water through a semi-permeable membrane. C. Protein into the nucleus. D. Sodium out of the cell. Answer: B. Water through a semi-permeable membrane. Why? Osmosis is specifically water movement. Nursing fact: understanding osmosis helps explain IV fluid effects, edema, and dehydration. Which transport process requires ATP? A. Diffusion. B. Osmosis. C. Active transport. D. Filtration. Answer: C. Active transport. Why? Active transport uses energy to move substances against a gradient. Nursing fact: active transport helps maintain electrolyte balance, which affects nerve and muscle function. A solution that causes no major change in cell size is A. Hypertonic. B. Hypertonic. C. Isotonic. D. Acidic. Answer: C. Isotonic. Why? In an isotonic solution, water moves in and out of the cell equally. Nursing fact: isotonic fluids like normal saline are commonly used to support circulating volume. What happens to a cell placed in a hypertonic solution? A. It swells. B. It shrinks. C. It divides. D. It bursts. Answer: B. It shrinks. Why? Water leaves the cell in a hypertonic environment. Nursing fact: hypertonic fluids must be monitored carefully because they pull water out of cells. What happens to a cell placed in a hypertonic solution? A. It shrinks. B. It stays the same size. C. It swells. D. It dies immediately. Answer: C. It swells. Why? Water moves into the cell in a hypertonic solution. Nursing fact: Hypertonic fluid shifts can be dangerous in patients at risk for cerebral edema. Homeostasis refers to A. Cell death, B. Maintaining internal balance, C. Rapid cell growth, D. Energy production only. Answer: B. Maintaining internal balance. Why? Homeostasis means keeping the body's internal environment stable. Nursing fact: vital signs, blood glucose, oxygen saturation, fluid balance, and lab values all reflect homeostasis. The major cation in extracellular fluid is A. Potassium, B. Sodium, C. Calcium, D. Magnesium. Answer: B. Sodium. Why? Sodium is the main positive ion outside the cell. Nursing fact: sodium imbalances can affect mental status, fluid balance, and blood pressure. The major cation in intracellular fluid is A. Potassium, B. Sodium, C. Chloride, D. Bicarbonate. Answer: A. Potassium. Why? Potassium is the main positive ion inside the cell. Nursing fact: potassium changes can affect cardiac rhythm, so abnormal levels are important to report. A pH lower than 7 is considered A. Neutral, B. Basic, C. Acidic, D. Alkaline normal. Answer: C. Acidic. Why? A pH below 7 is acidic. Nursing fact: acid-base imbalance can affect breathing, mental status, and cardiac function. Which substance contains the genetic instructions for the cell? A. ATPBDNACRNAD glucose. Answer: BDNAY. DNA carries hereditary information. Nursing fact: some diseases, cancer risks, and medication responses can be influenced by genetics. Mitosis results in A. 4 different cells, B. 2 identical daughter cells, C. 1 mature red blood cell, D. a decrease in chromosome number. Answer: B. 2 identical daughter cells. Why? Mitosis produces 2 identical cells for growth and repair. Nursing fact: mitosis is important for tissue repair and wound healing. Which organelle digests worn-out cell parts and waste? A. Lysosome, B. Nucleus, C. Ribosome, D. Mitochondria. Answer: A. Lysosome. Why? Lysosomes contain digestive enzymes. Nursing fact: cellular waste removal supports normal tissue health and immune function. The cell membrane is made primarily of A. Calcium and sodium, B. Phospholipids and proteins, C. Water and glucose, D. DNA, A and RNA. Answer: B. Phospholipids and proteins. Why? The membrane is mainly a phospholipid bilayer with proteins. Nursing fact: membrane proteins can act as receptors, which is how many drugs affect cells. Which example best demonstrates negative feedback? A. Blood clot formation, B. Labour contractions, C. Sweating when body temperature rises, D. Rapid growth of cancer cells. Answer: C. Sweating when body temperature rises. Why? Negative feedback reverses a change to restore balance. Nursing fact: fever, blood sugar, blood pressure, and temperature regulation all involve feedback systems. The sodium-potassium pump moves A. Sodium into the cell and potassium out, B. Water into the cell and sodium out, C. Sodium out of the cell and potassium into the cell, D. Potassium only. Answer: C. Sodium out of the cell and potassium into the cell. Why? This pump uses ATP to maintain sodium and potassium balance. Nursing fact: sodium and potassium balance is essential for nerve impulses and cardiac conduction.
Just driftway.
Edema is best described as A. Fluid loss from cells, B. Excess fluid in the interstitial space, C. Low blood sugar, D. High potassium level. Answer: B. Excess fluid in the interstitial space. Why? Edema is swelling from fluid build-up in tissues. Nursing fact: nurses monitor edema by checking skin, weight changes, lung sounds, and intake/output. Which term describes the fluid inside cells? A. Plasma, B. Interstitial fluid, C. Intracellular fluid. D. Extracellular fluid. Answer C. Intracellular fluid. Why intracellular fluid is fluid within the cell. Nursing fact. Fluid shifts between intracellular and extracellular spaces affect hydration status and lab values. Why is ATP important to the cell? A. It stores oxygen. B. It is the main source of cellular energy. C. It forms the cell membrane. D. It controls pH directly. Answer. B. It is the main source of cellular energy. Why ATP provides energy for cell functions. Nursing fact. Poor oxygenation, poor perfusion, or low glucose can reduce energy available for normal cell function.